welcome to Lightworker Radio. My name is Nikki McGregor. I'm the founder and facilitator to the GOL Network, Gathering a Lightworkers Community.
Yay.
Hello, and I've got my guest on here, our newest professional member with the GOL Network, Andy Blythe, or Andrea Blythe.
Both one and the same.
What is it? All the nicknames.
Yeah.
And she's with Let Love Rise. And we are so excited to have you. Super
I,
excited.
I'm beyond excited to like officially be
I
a part
know.
of the community. I've just been like a secret fly on the wall for I don't know how long, but it's great to be official. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's all in that right timing in everybody's
Yeah,
journey.
right.
But really quick, if you're new to GOL is a space where it's where we started and where we're always going to be, but it's raising the frequency of joy and gratitude, coming together as community and collaborating on all things healing mind, body, and spirit. And it really is about like those 7 to 8 pillars of health that we try to tackle in our group and help share that wisdom. So we are a provider network. We have an online and an in-person meetings. And we are at the core, we're a community. And so that's the GOL community, which Andy's been part of. And
Yeah.
yes, so we first met. I want to share that. So we actually
Okay.
met at Wine Women in Wealth. So it's kind of like a
Mhm.
networking to empower women and getting some financial education there. Kim
Yeah.
Harrison is great. So she does those locally. And that's where we first met.
Yes. Yes. And I
And
I, I remember because you were like in the back of the room and I was like, who's that? I'm like, oh, she's the one who's created Gathering of Light Workers. I was like, I want to get to talk to her. So
it
yeah.
was funny because then Andy's sharing, about what you do with Let Love Rise, and you were jumping all in with it. You've already been doing it, and then of course, like my dog ears, like, whoop, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I was just super excited to get to know you, and your energy is just that very joyful energy that you just exude. So I
It's a
think people
welcome
now,
return. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
welcome return to the joy. It's been a journey to get back here to this place, but I'm glad that you
yeah.
see that and you saw that at our initial meeting. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think we'll talk a little bit about that journey in a
Yeah.
minute, but yeah, it's funny as you were coming, I think it was one of the evening socials. I was like, my heart was like, oh, she's already like officially in the network.
Yeah.
And so when you sent me that text, I was like, yes, okay. And so it's been exciting. So we have new professional members come on, we have that onboarding process.
Yeah.
And so we make sure we get you off on the right foot. And so part of what we do is we want you to be seen and heard.
Mm.
We want these providers and just get the word out.
Yeah.
Because so
Isn't
many
that
of
what we
you,
all want? Like that's so beautiful. We all just really want to be seen and heard
Mhm.
on a human level. Yeah.
And the fact that y'all have like the keys to healing.
There's that.
Oh, it is. It's there's so many people within our group that have this profound wisdom to be able to really change lives.
Mhm.
And I myself come from Western medicine, and it has its place, but it's broken. There's broken pieces.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of issues that people are having, and they're just getting a pill for that. And they're not really getting to the root cause, they're not getting to the answer. And sometimes it's emotional, spiritual, mental component. And it's not just the physical. And so it's not in your head. You're not crazy. There's answers to what you're searching for when it comes to that portion of wellness. But yeah, why don't you share with us just how Let Love Rise got inspired? Where did that
Wow.
all begin?
Well, it really began with an ending, as all beautiful stories do, right? Like my 20-year marriage came to an end, and in 2019, 2020, it was official, and it was just such a profoundly shocking turn of events in my life that I didn't foresee. And I've been a writer, like a journaler. Let me rephrase. I've been a journaler my whole life, and it's always been a way to help me move through my stories. And when it was about a year after the initial divorce process started, I woke up with the words "Let Love Rise," and it was like, that's the blog. And I used to be a high school teacher, and I was just like, I had this sudden urge. And how you said, like, you just jump on in. That is, I'm an Aries rising, so I'm that like cannonballer. I will jump first, think second. And so I did over this spring break. I didn't have my kids. I just started a blog to share my story, because I was being told that not only would it heal me to share my story and to shine a light into those shameful places, let shame kind of start to melt away, but that other people could certainly connect. And maybe I was searching for that connection too. So Let Love Rise began as a blog in April of 2021. And then it just like, I just went with the calling, and I started really loving what I was learning about astrology. And then I was introduced to this ancient wisdom of the Magi cards and all of these different healing things. And music has always been a big healer of mine, and mindset work, which has now created the foundation of Let Love Rise, where it moved from like a personal passion project into a full-time business
I
last
love that.
August when I took
Love
the
that.
leap of faith. Yes, I left my high school teaching career, and I'm taking a leap of faith on myself. And Let Love Rise is based on the 4 pillars of the moon, music, mindset, and the Magi. So I weave those 4 healing elements, the things that have helped me heal. I share them in my storytelling, because I still write blog posts, and then I share them on my YouTube channel for people who'd rather just listen to the stories. I share them. I lead moon circles, and I'm now a certified reader of the Magi cards of destiny. So everything overlaps itself, and I do coaching circles and all of that with the mindset work. So it's just like one of those things that I can look back at my divorce, and as painful of a journey as that was, and as dark of a couple of years, I would say it was a good 3-4 years of just real cocoon darkness. That just want to also give hope to anybody who's hearing this, who's going through a divorce or is recently on the heels of a divorce, that the journey to the other side, when you really go within to heal yourself, it's so much brighter and more beautiful than you can even imagine. So just keep going, just keep going. And I had so many people speak that into me, and that's what I want to speak into the lives of others. So yeah, the joy is rising, and it just feels great. It just feels great. And so now
It's
I'm
good.
ready to be an official part of the community, because now I have a business.
I Well, and just that journey in itself, right? And giving it time to kind of marinate. And when you talked about being in that dark place in that cocoon, like first thing I thought was, oh, the phoenix. But then isn't
Yeah.
that in your logo too? The
It is the Phoenix rising. And because the Phoenix was when I was, because I really, really felt like I was in the ashes. Like my life, it crumbled from a pretty it was it was really tragic. And it wasn't just the divorce, it was the sequences of events that happened after that. Just, I kept saying, like, I'm rising, I'm going to rise from the ashes. So it is, the Phoenix is my logo. A lot of what I teach, I've just finished up in April a group coaching circle called Spirit of the Phoenix, because it really is about when you find yourself in your life circumstances in the ashes, like, how do you start over, and where do you begin, and how does it, but having this idea of the soaring phoenix and knowing that rebirth is possible, and then to infuse that with, and you get to create it, like you are the co-creator of it. It's like how helping people rise. So this, speaking of, this says rise. And this phoenix that I had tattooed was on what would have been my 20th anniversary. We were in divorce proceedings at the time, but I marked my body with that just as a reminder that
Mm.
I'm not the ashes. The phoenix is in me. It's in all of us. And so how to just like unearth it, and it lifts, it falls, it lifts,
Well, and it
it's
gives people hope, right? So like,
um,
your story is able to resonate with a lot of
yeah.
people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so being able to go from that and to just exude joy
Yeah.
and creating a business where you're able to impact people, I just love that. That's That's like
Yeah.
the awesome point.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and leading from joy is a really big part. I had my human design done over this, and I am a generator. And as generators are, we are called to create from a place of authentic joy. And so I'm very mindful of that as well as I create my business um, to just check in with myself because I'm a brand new entrepreneur and I haven't seen that modeled in my family and my heritage. That I'm the first one to be doing it. And again, jumping first, thinking later, or thinking as I go, that's part of
Mhm.
my journey too, because I know that answers get revealed in time when we're ready and steps are taken at the exact right time that they're ready to be taken. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And diving in to with a community and a collaboration of other health and wellness and spiritual entrepreneurs. So you have that because as a newer person to business, you're not alone in business. Like you're doing your thing,
Yeah.
but you really aren't alone. There's so many people out there in different communities that are here to help, right?
Right.
And
Right.
provide answers.
Yes, it's so great. It is so, I mean, having a community of people, not only like with the gathering group, and you had mentioned Wine, Women, and Wealth, I feel like they're a little bit two different marketing groups, but fundamentally we're all still working together at just sharing our love and our light, whatever that means. And GOL might be a little bit more of the spiritual holistic mindset than Wine, Women, and Wealth, but there's certainly overlap. And at the end of the day, like just the community, and we've all felt that collectively when it was taken away from us during
Mhm.
the pandemic, during my divorce, as my life was falling apart. It's like a blessing in many ways that I had that time to really cocoon and grieve, but then also there was the isolation of that. So coming out, emerging from that, all of us refinding each other and reconnecting with each other, it's so powerful because there's always somebody a couple steps ahead and always a couple steps behind that we can learn from and we can help lead into the next
Mhm. Well, and I
version
think
of.
it kicks us in the butt too. So all those things that we should be doing, or because I know
Mm,
so many people like you, like myself, we took that leap of faith and we jumped out of a long time
yeah.
career
Yes.
that
Yeah.
wasn't aligning with us anymore. Didn't
Yeah.
know, like I literally didn't know what I was going to be doing.
Yeah. Oh,
But just knowing there was going to be something there to
yeah.
be created. Like I love what you said, like being able to create your life, co-create your life and
Yes.
coming from that. Another thing that like I love is that you do the cards of destiny, the love cards.
I know.
And
I know we had that connection too.
like
Yes.
nobody knows, like if you guys haven't heard it, it's kind of not
Mhm.
well known in the area. And
It's
so
and not just in the area, I would say in the world. It's really only been recently brought into modern day like availability, accessibility as in the early 90s, late 90s. So we're talking 20, 30 years that this knowledge is starting to get disseminated, thanks in part to Robert Lee
mhm.
Camp, or a huge part to his books and his teaching. I just happen to, have like this is what I saw this on your shelf. I was like, wait, do you do cards of destiny and love cards? That's over there.
My
But
my friend Lori Ray introduced it about 8 years ago to me. Like we were just at this meeting I was holding, and she was talking about all these cards and then personality traits, which I love, like all the modalities and layer. Like you got the
yeah,
astrology, you got gene keys, human
yes.
design, and then you got love cards, which it all kind of overlaps. But yeah, since you're the one certified in it, like you by far, I'm gonna put the hat of expertish.
Yes. Yes.
And that's part of your business. But yeah,
It is
dive
the
in
pillar.
and just kind of share what that's about, because since most people probably haven't heard of it.
Yeah, well, first of all, if anybody receives this message locally to the Boise area, I am teaching an intro to the Magi course this Wednesday night, and I will be hosting one online, date to be determined, at the end of the month, just for somebody who would like to know more. But essentially, it's based on a standard deck of cards symbolized by the Ace of Spades. But the standard deck of cards, as we know it, is actually a book of wisdom hidden in plain sight. So for eons. It has been it's just been a hidden knowledge, and what it actually is not how to make money in Las Vegas or have fun while you're waiting for the waiter to come with your food, but it is a calendar. So it's a calendar, and if you think about it, I'll just throw out a couple things that might help this make sense. But a calendar, in our calendar year, we have 4 seasons, and there are accordingly, there are 4 suits in a deck of cards that correspond to the spring, summer, winter, and fall and winter seasons. There are 52 weeks in a year. There are 52 cards in a deck. Our lives are run through this calendar in 7 52-day periods that are all in accordance and in alignment with our planets moving from Mercury to Neptune. And that's the other thing you were talking about, how like gene keys and, astrology and all the other modalities that we learn to help us, with our spiritual tool belt, that this system is in accordance with all of those things. There's nothing that is like, oh, but in my astrological birth chart, I heard that I was this. It's really because I was understanding astrology before I recognized that this system of the Magi card science is astrologically based. And that's how you get your planetary ruling card. It has to do with your sun sign and what it's ruled by. And then you find the card that is your planetary ruler. It's an amazing system. It's really profound and just has so many layers to it. But I'll just be offering the introduction to the class, kind of explaining what the 4 suits mean, what the numbers mean, and how the calendar and how to use this system advantageously to just help you ask and seek or seek answers to some of your life's biggest questions. And the one thing that I'll share on right here is that I just shared in my recent blog post called Coincidence, Karma, and the Cards, is that I truly believe when I say that my story began with my ending with the divorce. Not only was the day of my wedding anniversary, July 1st, it's an Ace of Spades day, and the Ace of Spades represents the order of the Magi and this card science system. But then I just recently looked up the divorce date that was finalized, which happened to be October 30th of 2020. And that the birth cards for that date are the 9 and the 5 of hearts. And the 9 and the 5 of
Got
hearts
chills.
are, they are the 2 traditional divorce cards, 9 meaning endings, 5 meaning change, and then hearts, that's love. So I truly believe like this, and like you can't make that stuff. Like this all happened in the past. Like how, and when I saw that October 30th date, I was like, get out of town. And I just looked that up like maybe 4 months ago
Wow.
during my certification program. I was like, what?
Well, and that's what I love. And I don't know if you have the other book there, the love cards. There's
Mhm.
cards of destiny, and then I learned first from the love cards. And that's
Oh,
like
you did.
connection. Yeah, yeah. And so it's your card, your sun card connecting to another person. So it says
Oh,
love. It doesn't mean it has to be your
yeah,
lover.
so
It
many.
just has, it could be your coworker, anybody you
All
have
of our
internet.
connections, right? How you and I are connected. And it's
Yeah.
so it's so enlightening just to understand if somebody like if somebody's first connection with you is your Saturn card, that energy is going to be received by one person, perhaps as criticism. And it's not even, I've seen it played out again and again in different relationships. Or if somebody's your moon card, it's a really beautiful, like
Mm-hmm.
loving energy. So it's this is wisdom that I wish that I had during my marriage. I think I would have understood a lot more, but I also do understand because my ex-husband and I had a sun and moon connection. I was moon, he was the sun. And so the moon, when that relationship works well, the sun person is the leader of the relationship. And it doesn't have to be a marriage relationship. Obviously it can work well in that. It could be in work, it could be in all kinds of ways. My daughter, I'm moon to her as well.
That's a lot of moon,
But
huh?
well, they're both the same birth card, so that's why
Oh,
I'm
wow.
into both of them. So there's that. I won't get into that.
That's
But
another. It's another
Yes,
recording.
another story. But I noticed that when like I no longer agreed with his lead kind of leadership style or what he was wanting for our family and started to use more of my own voice and offer my own opinions or thoughts, that's when things just really derailed. When it was kind of like I broke the sun moon contract, or we broke it, or it broke, or
Oh, I
whatever.
love
But that
that. I
sun
love how
moon
you put that.
contract, it's really powerful to understand little things. And again, this was a hindsight thing for me, but really powerful that.
And I literally got chills when you said that was a 9 and the 5, but it is
Mm,
very, it's when you look back at the cards
yes,
of destiny, and that does take knowledge and
yeah,
understanding,
yeah,
and then the interpretation of all that. It's like it's very validating, and it's
yeah,
also validating, like, oh, our interaction, like if you have a direct Mars, that's like you, it's an intensity,
yes,
and that could be intense
yes,
love, it can be intense fighting. It's like
yes.
you're all in both ways.
Right, right. Very passionate. That's the word I use for Mars. I mean, because passion can be amazing and beautiful, and it can also be, you can be passionately arguing your side, you know? So
But
yeah,
I think it
people,
helps validate, right? Like when you kind
yes,
of have that understanding, and
it does.
it's such a beautiful system that
Yeah.
I think more people need to know, and it can help give validation and also some affirmations, because
Yes.
the book does go into that too, is affirmations.
It does. It does absolutely. When you have certain, or no matter what your 5 cards are for the year, what it kind of helps you to lean in, because every card has a high and a low side to it. And we here in the GOL community are all about raising the frequency, right? Raising the vibe. So how do you, especially when your soul is being challenged to evolve, that requires change, and that's hard, and it can be painful, and it can be scary, and there are ways to move through that with a little bit more self-compassion. And also, yeah, those affirmations that are in the book certainly help to remember, like, okay, this is just what I'm going through, and it's also a phase. It's a
Hmm.
phase. It yeah,
Just
it
getting
will
through. But
pass.
the other pillar that you do, so we got moon, we got the
Music.
Magi, music.
Yes.
Okay.
Moon, music, mindset, and magi. So
And the
yeah,
music, I have experience going to one of your moon circles
yeah,
and with the music. And what I appreciate is that you hold this safe space to just be yourself and just allow your body to do whatever movement that it needs in that moment.
yeah,
And you know what I was noticing? I think it goes right alongside that. We forget our inner child in that moment. And I was walking my daughter to school, and we were walking by all the kindergartners, and one of the little boys, like, ah, like they're just like running and screaming, like all of them,
they're just
like,
feeling it all. Yes, it's so great.
yes. And I'm just realizing, like, you're allowing your guests and your clients to kind of have that experience of just having that full experience,
Yeah.
that authentic experience.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I do think that music is so powerful. It's no matter where you are in the world, we all have our inner drum, and there's something that connects us all. We don't have to speak the same language. As soon as a beat comes on,
Mm.
there is community and there's connection. I just love that. And so, and yeah, and helping people, because right when we were 5 years old on the playground, we could be doing whatever. And if we felt like busting out in song and dance, we did. We don't do that at age 50. Well, I do, but I'm the person that's got the headphones in and I'm walking around and I'm singing and I'm dancing, and like
Finding the joy, and
it
if you think
is.
about it, those 5-year-olds are in pure bliss and joy as they're
Yes. They're
running
much more
around.
connected.
Right. And so I think if
Yeah.
anybody is watching this and you're looking for that deeper spiritual connection, mindset connection, you're able to just, in a very loving and joyful way being able to help people connect that. So thank you
Uh,
for
yeah,
doing that.
it just feels good when a song moves you. It feels good. And I had parties for one in my kitchen for so many years where I just, just whatever the song wanted, whether it was celebration or sorrow, and to allow our emotional experience to take over, because that's the other thing, is that we too easily will medicate and mask the hard
Mhm.
emotions. And there are times where we absolutely need to cathartically cry and let something go, and let our body slump over and maybe not even move. And then there are times for the opposite experience. And so yes, I do offer a spirit flow class on full moons, where to allow people to celebrate or move how their body wants to move and
And that is
experience.
such a that full, and it takes strength to cry, but that full release of and sitting. I think the best wisdom I was told is not numbing a pain, but sitting in that emotion, just really sitting in it. But you and then allowing that process to happen and
When
unfold.
I wonder how many people just got a little scared hearing you just even say that, like sitting in the pain. Like it's
It's hard.
it's not easy, and we're not taught, in especially in our society here in the United States, we are not taught that, one, it's okay, and two, how to do it,
Mhm.
right? Instead,
And
we're,
having a hand there, right?
yeah,
Helping you like stand
yeah,
back up again.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh my gosh, I can't wait for all the amazing things that you're going to do. You're already doing it, but I know that there's even more lives that are going to be touched by your joy and all the offerings that you provide. But um if you want to get in touch with Andy, be sure to go to her website, which is at letloverise.com.
That's
And then
it.
you can also reach her on the GOL network, the golnetwork.com. We have a list with all the providers that are on there, and Andy's on there with Let Love Rise. So you can get to her information right there, hear her story as well. And meet our other providers. But last question before we go, where is your favorite place that you visited on Earth?
Oh my gosh. Well, right. Oh, I just went forward and backwards. That's really weird. I was like Egypt, and I haven't even been yet, so that's weird.
Woo!
That was weird. Um, but one of my, I mean, Alaska is right up there. I took myself by myself, just myself, to Alaska for my 50th birthday, and that was transformational. It was really, really amazing just to see the raw frontier and beauty of this country. I absolutely love that. And then I want to counter that with I went to it's not, yeah, Chichen Itza and Tulum and I had just a really magical experience. I'm definitely drawn to sacred lands and sacred sites, and so one day, I don't know when that Egypt thing will happen, but
I love that.
apparently I was like, oh, well, Egypt was definitely one of my favorite places to
Next
visit.
trip, Egypt, taking off.
Yes, yes,
Oh, I
yes.
love that. I love that.
Anywhere where I could be outdoors and just either a sacred land and visiting it in its natural beauty or in its ancient wisdom. I just love that. I love that.
I love it. And I love watching your travels that you've done lately too.
Oh,
So
thanks.
I love being part of that
Yeah,
virtually.
that's fun.
um, all right. Well, thank you to everybody on here that has been watching our video with Lightworker Radio. Thank you, Andy, for
Thank
joining,
you.
sharing all about you. And do go to letloverise.com and get signed up and just get to know Andy. Just reach out and connect with her.
Yeah,
And
please do. I'd love to.
yeah, much love, everybody.
Much
Yes.
love. Namaste. Thank you.